Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, get this video to at least 200 likes. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the case. Let me just set the scene for you so you know exactly what type of person we are talking about. Dominic Francis. He was well known to police from as early as 2015 when he had commandeered an Audi Q5 without consent and along with a Ford Focus at a different time. The man who owned the car had a tracker and of course he called the police to report his vehicle missing, and it led police right to Dominic's house. After taking the car, Dominic had purchased a fizzy drink and then left the bottle in a cup holder of the Audi. Of course, police picked up the car and they did a swab on the fizzy pop and it matched the DNA of Dominic Francis. For the theft and burglary, Dominic, who was only 23 years old at the time, was sentenced to 3 years. Now, fast forward to 2023. 31-year-old Dominic Francis is now a big-time dealer. In order to move his gear and meet the demands of his clientele, he recruited teenagers. That included a 14-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl who knew the layout of London and also coastal towns where they was going back and forth from. They also had experience of avoiding detection of the police when picking up gear or meeting the customer or delivering money, as they had previously worked for other county line dealers. Now the teenagers were said to be very good and valuable assets. Now Dominic ended up going to jail on remand for a separate incident while sitting in his cell. Now because Dominic was selfish and he had to ensure that the money was still coming in to fund his lifestyle, he recruited his 55-year-old mum, Deborah Francis, who worked as a site supervisor for a construction firm, and got his own mum to break down gear, repackage and also collect money, and stash the gear as well. In a recorded call, Deborah Francis was heard boasting to her son she had hidden the H, coke and trees before police were able to raid the house, along with cash. After, she told police she was not at home and they would need to reschedule a different appointment to sweep the family home in Eastham. On another call, she also said that she had to throw some gear away and also hide the money, before eventually the police gained entry to the Victorian mid-terrace home. The 000 line was Dominic's pride and joy, and Deborah did everything she could to ensure that her son kept hold of it. In fact, she was so dedicated to her oldest son's will that she even got the younger brother, 22-year-old Kyle, who was a student at Canterbury University, by all accounts a good person, a law-abiding citizen, to meet high-end dealers and also complete transactions out of the Newham area to feed smaller towns. At the time, Dominic's family was running the 000 line on Dominic's behalf. Dominic had been placed in Pentonville and also Brixton. He also called his brother from jail and told his brother he needed him to go around Newham and find some teenagers that wanted to become runners. On the call, Kyle's name was not mentioned, but police traced the number and was able to see that the signal tower was in close proximity to where Kyle was living. Now, during the investigation, police say that 25 teenagers had been recruited, 5 kilos of Class A gear was seized, £90,000 in cash was uncovered, and also a gold Rolex as well as diamond rings. During the investigation, police also admitted that they believed Dominic's younger brother Kyle did not want to be involved in this kind of lifestyle. It was the pressure from Dominic and then his mum when Dominic kept forcing his thoughts and his will onto the family. Now Kyle was arrested first. Dominic was so selfish that he even called his brother from jail to tell him how stupid he was that he got caught and to remind him to tell the police that Dominic had nothing to do with this crime. Of course, Dominic's already in prison, so he was charged with further crimes. Now Dominic and Kyle are due to be sentenced in July. As for the mum, she was given a suspended sentence for perverting the course of justice and a few other small charges to do with the way that she conducted herself when confronted by police. Stay safe.